Okay, so I hope I'm visible to everyone, right? Just a second. Yeah. So guys, today idea is very simple. We'll start from the introduction to data science, right? What basically data science is. In that, what are the different modules that we'll cover with. So as now this is the official first lecture that we are conducting. So in here we'll be also discussing about what are the different tools that are actually required, what kind of things are expected, right? So from my end, what are the things that I'll expect from you. Next thing is what are the few softwares that you need to install, just to write the codes, where to write the codes, you know so all these things will be covered in very details, right? So I would ask everyone to just stick till the very end, and I think we are good to go, right? So I hope my screen is visible to everyone. And now we just yeah. So see guys, now in a very in simple terms, right? So first of all, we'll start understanding like what exactly this data science is. Okay. So I think in my last two lectures, those who have joined might have seen a bit about it, like what data science is, and we have already been talking about that. So let me just yeah. Okay. So we have been talking about that, but the idea is we'll start from that. Okay. So first of all, what we'll do, we'll start with a very basic, like what exactly the data science is. Then eventually we'll try to understand what are the few real world examples of it, what where exactly it is being used. Then eventually we'll move into break this whole thing into different fields. Like let's say now here we also have a data scientist, and we also have a people who wants to learn a data analysis. So but the basic will start from there only. Even for a data scientist, you need to know certain things about data analysis. Okay. And then only we move forward with the machine learning part, that is a data science part. So that will be the main thing. After that, we'll try to understand what are the necessary things that you should have. Like let's say there is something called as github, there is something called as vscode. There are few things that will expect ki how exactly we they will be required to us, how they're gonna help us, right? After that, then we'll eventually move into understanding like what are the things that we will be covering into each and every single module. So now the first module is python. Then we'll detail, in detail we'll try to understand what are the different things we'll cover into the python. Okay. Now see guys, in very simple terms, right? Now when I talk about a simple data science, right? See, I mean, now this field is like booming so much, everyone is literally talking about the same part, like data science. Everyone everywhere you will see, some or other ways, trying to get into this particular field. So the very first question comes into the mind is what exactly the data science is. Okay, so don't worry about it. Actually, I just lost my writing mode, so I'll just get it by tomorrow. So this won't be a problem. I'm just trying to use a third party board. So yeah, I think this should be fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now see guys, in very simple terms, now you can just understand. Let's take a scenario of 15 years back, right? So that scenario was very different, where rarely you used to have a mobile phones with you, right? Now when the time has came, like every single person in this world have a mobile. Every single person in this world is dealing with the data. And now when the amount of data is increased, what we had, the need for the handling that particular data started increasing. We need people who can actually handle this particular data. So when we talk about handling this particular data, this is where the field of data science comes into play. Okay, this is where the field of data science comes into play. Now when I talk about, okay, sorry, okay, you have to bear with this, right? Spellings are totally fine. Okay, so now let's take a very simple example. Suppose on a regular basis we see a lot of things that purely happen with respect to data science. Let's say I'll talk about different scenarios. Let's suppose now, uh, while understanding what data science is, let's take a simple example. Let's say, let's imagine you are a CEO of, let's say, some e-commerce company. Okay, let me see how can I just yes, see, let's say some e-commerce company, and you are really not sure why exactly the sales are dropping. Yes, you have no idea what is that one reason that sales are dropping. So this is where the pure data scientist will come into play. So what exactly he will do is, he will try to analyze the customer data. Now when I say analyze the customer data means what? Who is buying the products, who is leaving the service, so all these kind of things. Let's say someone is completely inactive, not buying, so those kind of trends. Second thing is, will understand these particular trends. Just a second. Understanding these trends. Now when I say trends means what? Now understand here. Let's say there are certain patterns that we usually follow, right? So means what? Let's suppose a certain team is winning a match regularly, right? So what we say, okay, there is a certain pattern that this particular team is following, that every time they are winning, and it is pretty high probability that they have a pretty good chance to win again, right? So let's suppose we also talk about same thing. Let's say whether it will rain or not today. So what we say, oh man, come on, it's been few days that it's continuously raining, so there are pretty high chances that today also it will rain. Means what? There is certain pattern that we are following, there is certain a perfect pattern that is being followed. So that is what exactly we call it as following and understanding the pattern. Means when I talk about this e-commerce, then what the CEO can ask, what product sells, what products are sold the most, what products are sold the most. So this is like, see, now the problem was what? He was not aware why the sales were let's say coming down. So now how exactly a data scientist was helping? Data scientist was eventually telling it, okay, how exactly, what are the different trends that will actually help them to understand what is the main reason to drop of this particular dropping the sales. Okay, so इसके वजह से क्या हुआ? Then eventually when you understand these trends, then eventually we'll start understanding, the data analyst will try to predict the future sales, predict the future sales. Means what? Let's say what was the revenue that was last year, what was the revenue that was this year, and how exactly we can compare them, means what? In very simple terms, we are trying to analyze how exactly a certain problem can be solved using data science. Another very very perfect thing you might be looking at is let's say personalized recommendations. Now when I talk about personalized recommendations, you might be you might have seen, let's say usually you see the ads of shoes, right? Let's say if you're trying to buy a shoes, you will see that you go to any different website and you will see that the ads of the shoes are shown to you. You go to, let's say you keep on finding t-shirts, eventually you will get the ads about completely t-shirts only. So this is what we call it as a direct marketing. So how this came into play? This came into play because of data science. So what data science is doing is, they are trying to understand what a particular customer is actually interested into. Let's suppose now, you might have seen few years back, there used to be a people coming, right? Sales people used to come and they used to roam around every single field. Like they used to go everywhere. They used to understand, okay, whether you want this or not, whether you want to buy this or not. So what was happening? The conversion rate was very, very low. Means what? Let's suppose he was going to an area. In that area, let's say 100 people are there. So out of 100, let's suppose they are trying to sell, let's say, shoes. Okay. So out of 100, let's suppose now there are like 80 people who are, let's say, old age people, right? So will they be interested into that particular shoes? Definitely not, right? Means what? The targeted area was very high. Means they were targeting a very bigger area and the conversion was very, very low. So because of that, what was happening? The money and the amount of money that companies were spending was very, very high. They were spending very huge amount of money on the marketing. So how exactly data science started helping? What data science said, let's suppose if a particular person is interested into the shoes, then why not to show him only shoes, right? If he is interested into the shoes, then it's better we just show him the shoes only, right? What's the point of showing someone a t-shirts when he is not interested into the t-shirts only? So this is where the direct marketing started coming into play. Because why? The amount of data started increasing. Because see guys, now what happens? A very simple thing. You search something, okay? Whatever you search, that is going on to the Google. Google is getting that data, right? So when Google is getting that data means what? So what they are doing is, let's suppose Google got to know that you are searching about the shoes. So then what Google is doing? Google is sending this particular data to 10 different people. Here also, Myntra, e-commerce websites like Amazon, everywhere, who's, whatever websites are there who wants the shoes, they'll send that particular data to different these websites, and what he will say, hey bro, these are the people who are actually interested into this particular product called as shoes. And now what they will do is, now they will start giving the personalized recommendations to you. So in your website, in your Instagram, Facebook, wherever you will go, right, even on your YouTubes also, right, you might have seen exact similar kind of ads. You will see the same kind of things are being shown over there. So how these things are coming? Because of these personalized recommendations. Means see, this site will also show you the same kind of advertisement. This site will also show you the same kind of advertisement. But the plus point of this, what happened was, companies reduced the whole, let's say marketing money by billions of dollars. They literally started saving billions of dollars. Because now you know that there is a particular customer who is only interested into the shoes, then there is no point of showing this particular customer about anything else. So because of that, what happened? The target area got reduced. I mean, there was no need for 10 people to send you here. You just get one data scientist and he's doing all this particular work for you. Okay, so that was one of the very core examples of it. Now you will see a lot of different examples. Let's say facial recognitions are there. Let's suppose your let's say face is there. You're just taking that in front of phone, immediately phones are getting unlocked. So how that is there? So that's a core part of deep learning. Okay, that's a core part of deep learning. What we call it as, let's say, facial recognitions. Then you might have seen, let's suppose in very simple example, right? So let's say Tesla cars, right? Means what are these Tesla cars? These are completely automated, right? Means there is no driver, nothing is there. So how exactly they are getting to know, okay, there is a person coming in front of you, you need to stop now. Okay, now there is a signal, you need to stop now. You need to turn left, you need to turn right. So all this particular model is a core data science model. We call it as deep learning model. Let's say some next part of it, some advanced part of it, deep learning model. Okay, so in very simple terms, guys, what is the simple meaning of data science? A data science is a field of study where a particular thing, means let's suppose what we are doing is we are trying to build something which can think like a human being. Means what? Let's suppose everyone might be using ChatGPT these days. So you might have seen when you write something to a ChatGPT, it is exactly giving you the answer in your own words. Means let's suppose it is just like you are talking to a human being. The way you expect the answer through a human being, exactly in the same way you are getting the answer. So because means what? Definitely there is some kind of intelligence that is added there. So let's suppose now what this data science is now. Let's imagine this as a small kid. Let's say there is a small kid in your house. So is it like you make that particular kid sit and you tell him, okay, now say hello, say mummy, say papa, say anything. So how exactly this kid is learning? Eventually he is gathering the data from the surroundings. He is gathering the data from the surroundings, from his mom, dad, surroundings, parents, grandparents, and slowly he is trying to learn that things by himself. We are not telling him, we are not making him sit, and we are not writing the set of rules. हम लोग उसको rules नहीं दे रहे. We are not giving him rules कि okay हाँ ये rules है, इसके rule के हिसाब से अब ये करो, hi बोलो, hello बोलो. We are not doing that. That is human being an intelligent model which has a capability or ability to understand the things by itself. Let's suppose now जैसे मान लो we have placed a object on a, let's say hot object पे हमने कुछ हाथ रख दिया. तो what we do? We suddenly take that off. So that no one needs to tell us, right, कि yeah, you have to take that hand off there. Because we know that particular thing, that is a kind of intelligence that we have. So then what happened was people thought, why not to create something similar kind of intelligent model that can work like a human being. And this is where data science came into play. So means what? Data science is an intelligent model. It is not a rule based model. There are two different things. Whatever applications you see, those are rule based applications. Means you tell them, okay, now do this, now do that, now do this, now do that. But you are telling data science also, you are telling the same thing, but data science is trying to add some kind of its own intelligence into it. It is trying to add its own intelligence into it. Okay, means when I talk about intelligence, so what do you mean by it? So let's say, means it has that ability to think by itself. If you ask, okay, tell me what is machine learning, so now data science will try to give the very broad description about it. Okay, this is what data science is, these are the fields into it, this is what exactly we do. So in details it will try to tell you. But at the same time, if there is one rule based model, कि आपने एक मॉडल बना दिया, उसके अंदर कुछ आपने रूल्स लिखे हैं, चलो यार डेटा साइंस क्या है, चलो इसका ये जवाब दे दो, मशीन लर्निंग क्या है, इसका एक जवाब दे दो. तो मतलब ये क्या होगा? दिस इज अ रूल बेस्ड मॉडल. एंड ये हमारा डेटा साइंस क्या है? दैट इज अ लेट्स से इंटेलिजेंट बेस्ड मॉडल. मीन्स ये खुद की सोचेगा, इट विल थिंक अबाउट इट एंड सोच के फिर ये आंसर देगा. ओके, सो दिस इज वॉट एग्जैक्टली वी कॉल इट एज अ डेटा साइंस. तो गाइज सी, in every single thing that you do in real world. You talk about e-commerce website, you talk about healthcare website, you talk about e-commerce, healthcare, finance, education industry, sports industry. Every single place you need a data scientist. मतलब क्या हो गया कि अभी ये जो चीज़ है, दिस इज़ नॉट लिमिटेड टू वन फील्ड. ये सिर्फ आईटी के रिलेटेड फील्ड नहीं है, इसकी ज़रूरत हर जगह पे है. इसकी ज़रूरत हर जगह पे है. यू नीड डेटा साइंटिस्ट एवरीवेयर, यू नीड डेटा एनालिस्ट एवरीवेयर. Okay, so now this was a very simple understanding about what data science is. Okay, so I hope everyone was clear with the simple idea. Don't worry, you have few things to do at the end of the session. From that you will have the more broad idea about what exactly this particular field is about. Okay, so now when I talk about the different roles that are given into this data science. Okay, so the very first role, and usually many of them actually opt for it, is a data analyst. Sorry, right, so this won't problem for us today. Actually my writing board is not with me. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yes, okay, so the first word is data analyst. Now let's take a very simple example to understand what a data analyst will do. Now let's say just now I told you कि a CEO is not trying to understand कि हमारे sales कम क्यों हो रहे हैं, what is the reason कि हमारे sales are going down. Okay, so what data analyst क्या करेगा, जितना भी डेटा उसके पास है. देखो अभी रेगुलर बेसिस पे कस्टमर्स आपके पास आ रहे हैं, रेगुलर बेसिस पे कस्टमर्स आर विजिटिंग योर साइट, दे आर लॉगिंग इनटू योर साइट, दे आर परचेसिंग फ्रॉम योर साइट, राइट. सो यू हैव द डेटा अबाउट देम. So then what you do, you try to find some kind of, let's say you try to get the insights from that particular data. So when I say insights means what? Okay, this is a percentage of people who are not shopping since this particular days. These are the kind of people who used to be active on our, let's say, these are the kind of people who used to buy on our, let's say, on our website, but since few days they are not buying. So now see, you are giving a simple analysis to your, let's say, company. Okay, this is a set of people, the set of people who were frequent buyers, but now they are not buying. So now when you get to know that as a data analyst, now see guys, now you are giving such an important insight to the data, to your company. So what they can do is, now as a company, they will try to connect these kind of people to understand what exactly happened, so that you are trying to leave our service. So understand, definitely if there are, let's suppose 100 people who are into this category, so when you are giving this particular insight, and when our companies, let's say marketing people are trying to talk with them, at least 20 of them will stay back. Means what? Indirectly you are trying to save this particular, let's say, you can say more and more growing business. Okay, see, customers going means what? You are reducing your business. The more and more customer, bigger the business will be there, right? So the work of the data analyst is to create this kind of let's say different insights from the data, right? Now let's suppose you are working for any other industry. Let's suppose you talk about, let's say, sports industry, best example. Okay, now all in the whole sports industry, all these big players you can see in every single sport. So they have the analyst with them. So what exactly this analyst do for them is, they will try to analyze the daily routine of that particular let's say player. Means what? Let's say on Monday, you trained for 30 minutes. Okay, then for 30 minutes you were into the gym. Then you had, let's say, certain diet. Okay, then diet, whatever it is. Okay, diet. Okay, then you had certain diet. After that you had rest. Then you again trained. Okay, and at the end you had a match to play. Now means what? On Monday he had this schedule. Okay, so what happens in, let's suppose for 7 days he'll follow the same schedule. Okay, now let's say for next 7 days you might do some kind of changes. Let's say you can add more over here, or you can add more time over here. You can add certain things into your diet. So as an analyst, what they are doing is, they are trying to analyze the whole day of that particular player, and then they are trying to predict what kind of exact requirements that you should take, or let's say how much mids you should train, how much certain type of diets you should take. And when you are doing this particular part, after that, how your performance is changing. Means what? in general you are trying to give the let's say you are trying to analyze the data about that particular player, and then you are trying to make him improve, then you are trying to indirectly helping him to improve his performance. Means what kind of plan you should follow so that you will get a better results in your match. Okay, so you have the regular data, then you try to make the good kind of analysis on that particular data, and from that analysis then you will understand, okay, yeah, these are the kind of things I should implement, and then only a player can have he can be injury free, he will not have more injuries, he can play much better than what he is doing now. So in very very simple terms guys, what we are trying to say is this is the pure work of what data analyst does, right? Now when I talk about a data scientist, so what's the work of a data scientist? So whatever data that you have, based on that particular data, he will try to create some kind of models out of it. Now when I say models, means what? Let's say in today's world you might see the things like, let's suppose you are trying, let's say a very realistic example can be, let's suppose you are trying to understand who are the people who are trying to commit the frauds in the banks. In very very simple terms, who are trying to commit the frauds into the banks. Now see, out of 1000 people, you know that there are hardly 10 people who are like that, who usually commit the scams and do the frauds and all, right? But you know that how important it is to understand these 10% of the people, right? So to analyze, now see, you have the data. After analyzing the data, we try to create a certain model which will predict for us which is this particular 10% of the people who are likely to create the fraud, fraud. Okay, so means what? Data science comes into the more core let's say technical parts, like you will try to build some kind of models around it, you will try to perform different types of high level analysis on it. Okay, so this is what exactly the second field when you talk about data scientist. Now in the data scientist you have machine learning engineer, deep learning engineer, NLP engineer, right? You have this generative AI engineer. Okay, so means what? In today's world what's happening is this generative AI, whatever chat GPT you see, it is simply trying to help you to reduce your work. Means what it is saying, okay, let's say consider chat GPT as your best friend, okay, best friend who has everything. Means he has money, he has power, he has let's say marketing strategies, he has everything, and you are his best friend. And what he says to you, okay, hey bro, I am planning to build some business, okay, will you help me? So then what this particular person is saying, yes bro, of course I'll help you, you are my best friend, I will of course help you, right? So now when you are connecting with someone of this particular caliber who has everything in place, so you can tell me now guys, see how easy it will be for to build a let's say any kind of business. It will be very easy, right? Because he already have every single setup already available over here. So this is what exactly the chat GPT and generative AI is doing. Means you already have the knowledge about this particular thing which is already in place. What you are doing is you are just trying to add your own knowledge, little bit of your own knowledge, and trying to build the best possible websites in the world. You will see that a lot of things you will see around, right? You will see different sites where let's say simple cloning voices are there, like someone is exactly trying to talk like any particular world famous person. You can see there's face clonings are happening, so multiple things are happening, right? So means what? You are using the intelligence of something called as chat GPT. See, it is not only chat GPT, there are multiple models like this, but something like chat GPT, and then you are trying to build something around yourself. So now this can be used in machine learning, this can be used in deep learning, it can be used in every single domain that you have, every single domain. Okay, so now this is what exactly is the total number of fields that we have, right? Now see guys, this is all about it. Now what exactly I expect from you on a regular basis, whatever things that we'll be doing, you need to think about that. And see, I'll tell you about every single thing, like how exactly we're gonna think about a problem, what kind of applications and what kind of project you will be doing, and what kind of assignments will be given to you. So for that particular part, I expect whatever assignment will be given to you, you at least have to try that. If you don't understand, next day I'm available, connect me, ask me, I'm completely happy to tell you. Okay, now second thing, all this particular data science and everything that we discussed, how it is written? It is written in Python. So Python is the most fundamental thing that we should know in the whole data science. पाइथन से सब कुछ स्टार्ट होगा. सो हमारा फर्स्ट मॉड्यूल क्या होगा? पाइथन होगा. विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम पाइथन. नाउ पाइथन लिखने के लिए आपको कुछ ना कुछ चाहिए, राइट? सो पाइथन लिखने के लिए, कोड लिखने के लिए देयर आर मल्टीपल थिंग्स दैट वी हैव. हर एक चीज़ के बारे में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे, राइट? हर एक चीज़ के बारे में हम लोग देखेंगे कि उसका फ़ायदा क्या है, व्हाट इज़ एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ इट, एवरीथिंग विल टॉक अबाउट इट. ओके, सो द फर्स्ट थिंग यूजुअली इफ़ आई टॉक अबाउट इंडस्ट्री लेवल, इंडस्ट्री में हम लोग क्या यूज़ करते हैं? वी यूज़ समथिंग कॉल्ड एज VS कोड. वी यूज़ समथिंग कॉल्ड एज VS कोड और पाइचाम. तो आप इसको ऐसा बोल सकते हो, ये दोनों ऐसे टूल्स है, दीज आर द टूल्स जहाँ पे आप आपका कोड लिखोगे, जहाँ पे आप आपका कोड लिखोगे. लेकिन नाउ अंडरस्टैंड गाइस, सी VS कोड के अंदर हम लोग कोड्स कब लिखेंगे? वेन एवर वी विल स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग द प्रोजेक्ट्स. जब हम प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में एक्चुअल बिल्डिंग स्टार्ट करेंगे, उसी टाइम हम लोग कोड्स VS कोड के अंदर लिखेंगे. क्यों? क्योंकि वी नीड टू फॉलो सर्टन पैटर्न टू इट. सर्टन, let's say, no, you can say we need to follow certain procedure to it. Like when I say procedure means what? There are different modules we need to build into this particular thing. So as the time will come, I'll tell you everything, like what modules are, how to create those modules. In simple terms, what? How to write the optimized code. Now I'll tell you one, let me just show you something. Okay, let's say now look at this one. Let me just open something for you. Oh, no, it's no different. I'll literally show you here. See here. Now let's suppose, now let's say we are trying to build something. See here. Now if you look at this, you will see that, see, whenever you will see the code of any simple data science, let's say any simple student or anyone who is trying to learn, so you will never see these kind of different applications created, or we can say different modules created, right? So when you actually build a project, हमें ऐसे मॉड्यूल्स बनाने पड़ते हैं. वी नीड टू क्रिएट द डिफरेंट मॉड्यूल्स. क्यों? क्योंकि क्या होता है कि आपके पास डेटा है, तो देर इज अ सेपरेट मॉड्यूल फॉर डेटा, राइट? देन आफ्टर दैट when you come here, you need let's say you have a different let's say module for SRCs. Means here you will have everything, databases you will have, bots you will have, models you will have, utils you will have. What is the meaning of everything, why it is required, everything will learn as the time will come. Okay, then after that, what are the main things here? You will see requirement files are there, setup files are there, bot files are there, setup project files are there. Means to build one certain particular project, we need to have the understanding about a lot of different parts. Okay, and all these particular things can be easily managed on VS Code. Okay, so your first work is to download something called as VS Code. Now see, if I talk about, let's say, laptop, if your laptop is compatible enough, let's say if your laptop is good, okay, which can handle up to certain memories, right? So it's not very high configuration model, bilkul nahi hai, it's very simple, but if you can download, it's good for you. But see, today you don't need to download it. Okay, so the whole Python that I'm telling you about, that Python we will write in something called as Google Colab. Google Colab. अब Google Colab exactly क्या है, आप ऐसा समझ सकते हो, Google Colab is a free resource that is given by Google. ये क्या है? ये एक फ्री रिसोर्स है जो गूगल ने आपको दिया है. यहाँ पे आप बहुत इजीली आपका कोड लिख सकते हो. The biggest advantage of this particular Google Colab is, see, even we as a developer use this Google Colab because, see guys, whenever you need to process a very bigger amount of data, what you need? You definitely need a good amount of processors to process that data, right? Let's suppose now you have the phone which consists of, let's say, 64 GB of memories. So as soon as it is coming to close to 64, your phone will start hanging, right? It will not respond properly. Means what? You are you are trying to fill the data which is completely to that particular memory. तो यूजुअली क्या होता है ना, वी एज अ डेटा साइंटिस्ट, जब भी हम लोग ऐसा समझ लो कि कुछ बड़ा काम करना है, वेन एवर वी नीड टू वर्क ऑन अ वेरी बिगर मॉडल्स, एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम हम लोग क्या करते हैं, फॉर अ बेसिक लेट्स से ट्रेनिंग वी यूज़ गूगल कोलैब्स, एंड फॉर बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग एवरीवेयर यू विल सी दैट गूगल कोलैब्स आर यूज. तो ये आपको क्या कर रहा है, ये आपको फ्री GPU देता है. मतलब क्या आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे, इफ़ आई जस्ट टेल यू, इफ आई गो इन रन टाइम, ठीक है, हियर यू विल हैव सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ फ्री GPU दैट विल बी गिवन टू यू. मतलब 10 GB तक आपको यहाँ पे GPU फ्री मिलेगा. और सिंपल लेवल के सारे कोड्स आप बहुत आसानी से यहाँ पे रन कर सकते हो. वेरी इजीली यू कैन very easily you can build the different codes, very easily you can write the codes, right? So maximum coding जो हमारी होगी वो VS Code के ऊपर होगी, right? मतलब as far as simple Python is concerned. उसके बाद then eventually we'll move into the parts where let's suppose if I open this new notebook now, I'll tell you everything, right? Means how you should open the notebook, how to create the notebooks. I think you have already seen it. Again you can look at here, right? So whenever we are creating these notebooks, inside this particular notebook you will have all the details, like how what are the important. Let's say here you start writing the code. All you need to do is just connect here and you will start writing. Let's say print hello world. Simple example, right? Hello. You will see you have the option to run here, right? This one. So as soon as this is connected, you can click this and you can start writing the codes over here. So this is what you called free resource. Means what? You are not using any one of your memory. You are not using your own laptop memory. You are not using, you are not wasting your own laptop memory. All the work you are doing is on a free resource. All the work you are doing is on a free resource. That is called as a Google Colab, which is a collab notebook that we call. Okay? तो हमारा जो maximum जो काम होगा, maximum work that we'll be doing, this maximum work will be done on the Google Colab only. Okay? Maximum work will be done on a Google Colab. Now, second thing is something called as GitHub. Okay, just now I told you, right? GitHub. This is like one of the most important things that you should know in a whole time, in a very, very completely whole time. GitHub is something that will be optimizing on a regular basis. Now let me tell you in very simple terms what GitHub is, right? What exactly the GitHub is. Now see guys, usually what happens, let's say on a one single project, let's suppose you are working on one single project, right? Let me see what happened. Okay. Okay, now see here, see, when you talk about any kind of project, right? Let's suppose you are trying to build a project. So what happens on that particular project, there are minimum 3 to 4 people who are working, right? 3 to 4 people who are working. Usually guys, not in any of the classes you will never see GitHub is actually taught. And this is like, one of the most important things that you should know, right? If you ask to any developer who is working, just ask him how important the GitHub is. This is one of the most important tool that you have to showcase your work. Whatever work that you are doing, everyone should know, right? Like what kind of work you are doing. So to showcase that particular work, there is something called as GitHub. So what you do on a GitHub, let's say it's a platform where, let's suppose I am working, there is one more person who is working. There are like, let's say 3 people who are working on the same project. Now I want to understand what kind of changes he has made into the code. Then I want to understand what kind of changes he has made into the code. And then according to their changes, I need to update that particular code. So now now see guys, if there is no GitHub, then what will happen? You need to go and ask him, like, bro, please send your code. Yeah, please apna code bhej do jaldi so that I can work forward. So this is like a very, let's say what, this is not a process that we should usually follow, right? So therefore we have something called as GitHub. तो ये क्या है? This is like a centralized system to manage all your codes. जितने भी आप कोड्स लिखोगे ये सेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम है. ये अपना कोड लिखेगा, यहाँ पे पुश करेगा, ये अपना कोड लिखेगा, यहाँ पे पुश करेगा. फिर आप क्या करोगे, इस कोड को आपके अंदर पुल करोगे. मीन्स यू विल पुल दिस पर्टिकुलर कोड इनटू योर ओन एनवायरनमेंट. And from means whatever changes are happening over here, those changes will be reflected in your code very, very perfectly. So जैसे ही फिर you will see those changes reflected in your let's say project, you can start working on that particular part. Okay, so optimizing the GitHub is very, very, very important, like extremely important. Okay, so let's suppose now what you need to do is, let's say now this is my GitHub, right? So all you need to do is go to GitHub, right? Simply see here, like this it will look like. I'll tell you everything, how to add everything, how to showcase your work, okay, how exactly it looks like. You will see that from 2021 work might be there, what kind of work you have done. So it looks here, okay, yeah, so this green dots you can see that. So it looks to then let's say recruiter, okay, how well he is managing the work, whether he is actually working or not. On a regular basis I am trying to add something onto my GitHub. On a regular basis I am trying to push something to my GitHub, right? So this is like one of the best ways that you manage your whole projects. Whatever you have written, everything is stored at one particular place. Okay, unnecessarily you don't need to download into your file system, store it somewhere. No need to do that. Directly send it to the GitHub. So okay, and projects, when projects will start, so in that particular case we'll build these projects very structurally. उनको GitHub के अंदर कैसे manage करना है, how exactly we should build it, everything. So another work that you have today is create account on GitHub. Okay, create account on GitHub. Let's go here, sign up, just like a simple sign up as you do, create a sign up, and that's it. Okay, simple thing would be, if you get a chance, read about it. What is a GitHub? What is the requirement of GitHub? What exactly it does for us as a developer? How exactly it is going to be helpful for me, right? So simple kind of things. So second thing I told you about was GitHub. How exactly GitHub will work. So guys, these are the three things which are very, very important for this particular part. You don't need like any kind of high processing laptops. You don't need anything, as we'll go into the deeper sections of this at that particular time, as the requirement will keep on going, at that time we'll understand what things are required, what things should be done, according to that I'll keep on telling you. But for now, these are the three things that you should know. Okay, so I hope everyone is following me, and I hope everyone is with me, right? Okay, yes. Now see here guys, now when I talk about, let's say this is a GitHub I told you about, these are the two things that I told you about. Now second thing comes is, let me just share my screen, just wait. Oh yeah, I'm sharing this tab only, right? Okay, sure. Now see here. Okay, let me see. Yes. Okay, now guys, the next thing is, okay, see here. Now we'll start with understanding what is the first model that we'll be covering. So in Python, what are the things that we'll be covering in Python, right? What are the things that are important in Python? With respect to Python, what are the important things that we'll do, right? So when I talk about a core Python, right? So we'll start with something called as a very, very simple, means we'll start from the very basics and we'll go till very, very advanced, right? So second thing is, we won't be going into the very core parts of OOPS and all, because that is really not required as of now. As a data scientist, that is not required. But whatever is actually required to understand the whole data science, that will cover in very, very perfect way. That will cover in very, very perfect way. Now when I talk about, let's say, a Python, right? So what are the things that we'll cover in Python? So first thing that we'll start about it, let me just write it here. For some period, no, it's gonna be a little bit hectic to handle. Only for today, like actually don't have my writing board with me as of now. Once we have it, so it won't be an issue. Just a second guys. Okay, now see guys, see, we'll start with the Python basics. Okay, so someone who has no idea about Python, who has like never done anything in Python, did not to worry, right? We'll be covering every single part of it. There is nothing like, someone might know about Python, so it's not like we'll directly start from some advanced things. We'll start from very, very basics. Like we'll understand about what are syntax, okay, then we'll understand about what are the simple variables into it, okay, variables, syntax, then what are the different data types into it, right? Okay, now see guys, the thing is, as you move forward into this particular let's say process from Python to data science, let's say data analysis, and when you actually look into this projects, at that time you will gain a very, very huge amount of interest into this particular field, because the kind of applications we actually solve now, they're so interesting, right? So automatically you will gain that particular interest. So for few of them, for now time being, might feel, yeah, what's going on. So only thing I expect from you is just keep the patience, right? Let the time pass, let the time go slowly, let understand about the basics, let you understand about how things are actually working. And once you understand all these things, eventually you will feel so much of, this field is so interested. I'm telling you, right? Like this field is so interested. The kind of problems we solve on a daily basis, the kind of applications that we solve on a daily basis are actually very, very good. Okay, so that was about the Python basics. We'll start from that. Then we'll understand about what are the data structures in Python. Okay, the structures, like we'll learn about what are lists, dictionaries, tuples, like simple things, sets. So these are the few data structures that we follow in Python. Now every single thing that we have written, okay, let's suppose today we are learning about these particular topics. So a very proper assignment with a real use case will be showcased into this particular platform, in our platform. I'll also show you about the platform, right? So in the platform you can go there, you can, let's say, find this particular assignment that you have to do, and you have to submit that particular assignment. Okay, so it is just like keep following what we are doing, right? Keep following what we are doing. Trust me, within 6 months I'll perfectly make you ready for this particular job, right? So for now, the only thing I'll understand is many of them, now I'm telling you, maximum of the messages that I'm getting are, sir, how much package will get. So guys, one simple thing I'm telling you, why are you worried about the package? At least start learning, right? Start learning and then think about a package. Someone might crack a package of 20 lakhs, someone might crack a package of 5 lakhs. So that is not something that we can tell a figure. Okay, but just start learning. That's the only thing I'll tell you as of now. Okay, then we'll understand about what are the control flows, like if else statements. What are if else statements, how exactly we handle them, then about loops. Now guys, understand 70% of the work in the whole industry, we will be doing all the basic things only, like let's say functions and modular code. So as soon as you understand about the functions, right, the maximum things are covered. Means, let's say these are the 70% of the things you will always revolve around the same things only. You will be creating simple list, you will be writing simple loops, you will be writing simple functions with your own understanding. The way problem will come, according to that you will try to build the logic. So for logic building, that's what I told you, right? More and more practice is important. Jitna zyada practice, utna acha logic building. Okay, definitely. Now in today's world you have a chat GPT. So how exactly we'll approach? Let's suppose now you have got a particular problem and assignment to do. So what you can do, let's suppose for time being you don't understand the assignment ki kya karna hai, kaise karna hai. So what will you do? You will try to understand that assignment in your own words. आप क्या करोगे? आपकी खुद की लैंग्वेज में असाइनमेंट को समझने की कोशिश करोगे. यू विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द असाइनमेंट इन योर ओन वर्ड्स. सेकेंड थिंग, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं सीधा कॉपी एंड सीधा पेस्ट विल नॉट वर्क. अंडरस्टैंड, हमें लॉजिक बिल्ड करना है. हमें अभी सॉल्यूशन नहीं चाहिए. वी वांट टू बिल्ड द लॉजिक. आई डोंट एक्सपेक्ट अ सॉल्यूशन फ्रॉम यू. फ्रॉम योर आंसर्स आई वांट टू सी व्हाट काइंड ऑफ let's say what kind of thinking you have implemented over there, what kind of logic you have built over there. आपको जब प्रॉब्लम आप सामने आएगा, आपको उसको आपके खुद के भाषा में उसको समझना है कि यार व्हाट एग्जैक्टली दिस प्रॉब्लम इज ट्राइंग टू से, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली दिस प्रॉब्लम इज अबाउट. यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट इन योर ओन लैंग्वेज एंड राइट दैट प्रॉब्लम in your own language to any tool that you want to use. I won't say don't use the tools. If they are available, use them. But make sure that, let's suppose now it will give you one answer, right? So first option क्या है? Understand about that. Understand about the problem means get the logic behind it. Now this 3 words, logic behind it, will come slowly. Okay, on the very first day we are doing something and immediately if you are expecting कि okay यार सर नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, don't worry, just keep the hold. Okay, just keep the hold, let it go. Someone might take a month to understand, someone might take 10 days to understand. It's totally fine. Okay, but try to understand the logic behind it. Okay, if I'm giving a problem, let's say a certain company wants to store their particular data into their website. Okay, so then by creating a simple data structure in Python, what kind of data structures can be used where we can store that particular data and host it somewhere. Now in this particular case you need to think, okay, what exactly they are trying to ask for here. Okay, they are trying to ask something about data structures. Means what? I am expecting you to frame that particular question in your own words. Instead of directly copying that question and pasting somewhere, frame that question in your own words. Okay, second thing, try it by yourself. एक बार खुद से ट्राई करो, खुद से लिखने का ट्राई करो. राइट इट, लाइक वट एवर यू कैन डू. इफ से हाँ आई वोंट से नहीं आ रहा है, जस्ट लीव इट. नेवर एवर वेस्ट मोर देन 15 minutes थिंकिंग अबाउट द सेम प्रॉब्लम. नहीं आ रहा है, मूव फॉरवर्ड. ठीक है, आपने सोचा, यू कैन सी ओके अभी तक तो आई एम नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ टू गेट द आंसर टू इट. लीव इट, मूव फॉरवर्ड. आस्क जीपीटी टू सॉल्व अबाउट इट. आस्क जीपीटी ओके हाउ कैन आई डू दिस. देन जीपीटी आपको जो भी आंसर देगा उसको आपको लिखना है. यू नीड टू राइट दिस पर्टिकुलर आंसर. ऐसा नहीं कि ये कॉपी पेस्ट करके आपके नोटबुक में पेस्ट करके आपने सबमिट कर दिया. नो, राइट अबाउट दैट. वट एवर सोल्यूशन दैट ही हैज रिटन, राइट अबाउट इट. ओके, ही सेड ओके डेफ क्रिएट अ फंक्शन, राइट. लेट्स से ऐसा उसने कुछ लिखा है, उसके बाद इधर पास कुछ पैरामीटर्स किए. मतलब क्या, जो वो लिख रहा है ना आपको लिखना है. सी this Python field or this data science field is just like mathematics. Just like mathematics. मतलब मैथमेटिक्स सिर्फ दिखता ईजी है, राइट? इट ओनली लुक्स ईजी, right? You know, right? It only looks easy. Okay, kya yaar, this is very simple, I can very easily do it, I can see this, oh yeah, this is what it's done, oh yeah, this is what it's done, I can do this. But when you actually take a pen and paper in hand, then you understand how difficult it is, because you need to write certain steps for it, you need to follow a certain logic for it. It is exactly like that. So even if you are looking at a problem, and even if you don't understand that, write the problem, look at that particular problem and write that particular problem. Okay, with respect to that particular part, with respect to that whatever assignment you will have, with respect to that you will ask a follow-up question. Give me 3 more, or let's say 2 more simple level questions to solve. Give me 2 to 3 simple level questions to solve of the same type of problem that I have given you over there. So on a regular basis I'll be giving you everything, like how you should do it, what is the approach that you should take it, but this approach that I'm telling is exactly same thing that we're gonna follow. So now what's happening is you are also solving an assignment or problem, you are also gaining a simple logic behind it, understanding behind it, and uske along with that you are also getting some more exposure to let's say solve 2 or 3 more similar type of problems. तो उससे क्या हो रहा है, you are building your logic. Guys, it is just like a practice. Okay, it's just like a practice. I mean, see, it is just like, you don't need to tell a professional cricket player how to, let's say which type of shot to play. He has that ability to take the decision because he has done that much amount of practice. It is exactly like that. Like when you say that how to build a logic, a biggest problem everyone has, how to build a logic. Build a logic. So guys, there is no answer to it. The only answer is practice. एंड गाइज ट्रस्ट मी, बेटर द पाइथन, जितना अच्छा आपका पाइथन होगा उतना स्कोप आपको आगे मिलेगा. द बेटर एंड बेटर विल बी एट पाइथन, बेटर स्कोप यू विल हैव इन द फ्यूचर. ओके, बिकॉज सी एवरी सिंगल थिंग दैट यू सी इन अराउंड द टूडेज वर्ल्ड इज बिल्ड इन पाइथन. सब चीज़ का बेस क्या है, पाइथन है. तो जब आप पाइथन अच्छे से करोगे तब आपको आगे की चीज़ें अच्छे से समझ में आएगी. Okay, so this is how exactly we'll approach into this any kind of problem, assignment, problem, everything that we'll do on a regular basis. We'll be adding, okay, this is what you should do. After doing that assignment, we'll also see like how to create a very proper folders into GitHub, how to upload that regular assignments over there, how you can get, upload your assignments, how you can get reviewed by that particular part. So every single thing we'll do. Okay, second thing, on a side by side, we'll be doing something called as LinkedIn optimization. The most important thing, like see, many of my students, actually not this batch but previously when I used to teach at different places, okay, so when actually I followed this approach to them now, so many of them have actually got a chance to be an influencers, like simple influencers, right? Means what they are doing on a regular basis, they are putting something on GitHub. So what I expect from you, let's suppose today we learned about what is data science. So what I expect is, go to your GitHub, right? Write a small blog about what you understood in today's lecture. That's it, today's lecture. Okay, that's it. Just write a small blog, maybe 5, 10, 15 lines, whatever you think is good, whatever you understand. For gaining this understanding, I will also be sharing different blogs with you. I'll also tell you, okay, yeah, follow to this particular blog, subscribe to this particular blogs, right? Means we are gaining a very wide, let's say we can say we are gaining very wide amount of data and wide amount of knowledge into this particular course. Okay, so write about this. After that, add different hashtags. Might sound a little bit odd, right? But trust me, it really works well. Building your connections and getting the referrals is the best way to get into, get a job into this particular domain. Add different hashtags, like, okay, yeah, maybe data science, machine learning, then let's say deep learning, NLP, Gen AI. So whatever hashtags that are there, add every single hashtag. So means what's happening is your post is going to more and more people. Don't expect to get a lot of different reviews and all of it, but keep on doing this particular thing. And on a regular basis, we will connect at least 10 new people. Let's say at least 10. Let's say 10 different data scientists. in our domain only, data scientist only. Let's say you're just searching simple data scientist into this particular place. Suppose no, if I just say data okay, let me show you, share, okay, share data scientists, okay, data scientist groups, just search here. And now see guys, what you need to do is, you have to search in the people, search in the people, and guys, you will see that all the data scientists you will see over here, all the data scientists, whole list of it, see 100 pages are there, all data scientists. Start connecting with everyone, because understand, when you will have the similar kind of connections, let's say around data scientists only you have all the connections, so then it will be easy for us to approach this particular, let's say when we say that a job approaching field, we'll have a very very structured way to approach this particular jobs, connect with everyone. See, because we need referrals, right? So now the jobs are not simply like, let's say you have a job over here, I'll just tell you, okay, let's say jobs are there, let's say this is there, okay, see here, 44 minutes already 48 applicants are already there, okay, see here, 1 week ago over 100 applicants. Now guys, just understand what makes us think ki from those all 100 applications that HR will go and check your application and then it will gonna come and call you back, right? So it's not gonna be possible. So the best approach is that we have to directly approach the HRs. So contact different HRs and different data scientists across the whole thing. So means what? We are building the connections. So when you build all these particular connections, it is eventually gonna help us to get our network very very broad. So tomorrow if you are saying, okay, yeah, hey, I'm looking for this particular job, this is my resume, if anyone have any kind of applications, please let me know, I'm looking for a job since very long. So now your post is going to all the similar data scientists who are actually working in that particular field, and definitely that is like one of the best ways to get the referral. See, referral is the best way to get into this industry. More and more, referrals you will get, better, let's say industry, better is this particular industry. Okay, so that is like one particular part. So we will also be, building this particular part regularly side by side. Regularly we'll be building all this particular part, side by side only. So writing your blogs, optimizing your LinkedIn, or, uploading every single thing on the GitHub, all these things come simultaneously on a daily basis. Okay, so now what I told you, so these are the most functional things that we do in Python. Means 70% of the work will always flow around these five things. Okay, now next thing that we learn in Python is file handling. Now see guys, as a data scientist, you will be handling different types of files. You will have, let's say PDF files, you will have Excel files, you will have document files, multiple type of files will be coming to you. So handling that particular file is very very important part, and that is what comes into next into the Python. Like, how to write the files like, CSV, Excel files, so all the different types of files. So how to read them, how to write them, every single thing. Second thing is exception handling. Now exception handling means what guys? In very simple terms, you can just understand. Let's say there is some kind of error that your, let's say, your site is giving up, you are writing some code and you are getting some kind of error over there. But in that particular error, what's happening is you are getting a very huge big error like this, something that you don't even understand. So in every single companies, whenever we write the code, we write the codes in something called as try and except block. Now what is the meaning of this? Means what we are simply saying is, okay, hey, try this certain amount of thing, try this particular piece of code, okay, try this. If this works, well and good, but if it do not work, then try to write a very proper message saying, okay, hey, whatever code that you have written, it is not functional level and you need to make some kind of changes. So means what happens is you are trying to handle the error very very properly. Means very politely you are saying, okay, you are doing something wrong, and because of that particular wrong thing, you need to handle that particular error more gracefully, more beautifully, more in better way. Okay, so that is what comes into a very core part of what you call as, exception handling, and you will be using this very very broadly. Okay, you will be using it very very broadly. Second most thing, important thing that we'll understand is data scraping. As a data scientist, as a data analyst, this is one of the most maximum work we'll be doing, scraping the data from different websites, because we need the data. And more, so it's like you will be told, okay, go scrape the data from this side, go scrape the data from that side, this is how you have to scrape the data, right? Regular basis pe you will be scraping the data, storing the data, right? यही सब काम होता है, right guys? मतलब when I will actually tell you the whole system कि मतलब आपके पास एक problem, मतलब क्या कि at the end of this whole, let's say program, I'll tell you कि जब एट द सेम टाइम जब आपके पास कोई प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट आ रही है एंड उस प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट का एक पूरा स्ट्रक्चर बना के हम लोग उस पर्टिकुलर चीज़ को कस्टमर के साथ एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्यूशन के साथ उसको कैसे हम पेश करते हैं, दिस होल प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज अ सिस्टम डिज़ाइन. So I'll be telling you will understand the whole broad terminology of system design. Okay, now guys, see, I have worked with the startups, so we have this exposure, right? Means at the same time when you work for the MNCs, आप क्या होता है ना, यू आर वेरी लिमिटेड टू योर वर्क. कि मतलब अगर आप फ्रंट एंड डेवलपर हो तो यू विल बी वेरी लिमिटेड टू फ्रंट एंड ओनली. अगर आप डेटा साइंटिस्ट हो तो मतलब आप सिर्फ मॉडल ही बनाओगे, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं करोगे. व्हेन यू वर्क इन अ स्टार्टअप नो, तो आपको हर चीज़ के बारे में देखना पड़ता है, क्योंकि स्टार्टअप्स कैन अफोर्ड टू हैव लेट्स से पोजीशन, एवरी सिंगल पोजीशन, एंड दे कांट अफोर्ड टू पे एवरीवन. तो फिर क्या होता है कि एक ही बंदे को काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें करनी पड़ती है. तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट यू गेट गुड एक्सपोजर. तो नाउ फ्रॉम अ प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट इज कमिंग टिल द टाइम यू आर डिप्लॉइंग दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग टू योर लेट्स से योर क्लाइंट, द होल प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड अ सिस्टम डिजाइन. मीन्स डेटा आ रहा है, यू आर प्रोसेसिंग ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा, यू आर अप्लाइंग सम काइंड ऑफ मॉडल्स ऑन दैट डेटा. ये पूरी प्रोसेस आपको एंड टू एंड समझ में आएगी. Okay, one of the most important things. Now once this is done, right, let's suppose we talked about a simple Python file handling, we talked about exception handling, we talked about, then we talked about let's say data scraping. Another very important thing we'll learn in Python is something called as fast APIs. Guys, this known will teach you. बहुत कम जगह पे आपको फास्ट APIs पढ़ाया जाता है. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं एंड पॉइंट्स. नाउ बहुत सिंपल एग्जांपल मैं आपको देता हूँ एंड पॉइंट्स का, ठीक है. अब जैसे मान लो शायद किसी ने अगर कल का सेशन देखा होगा तो माइट हैव दे ऑलरेडी नो. लेट्स सपोज आई हैव लेट्स से मिंत्रा. ओके, लेट्स सपोज दिस आई गो. नाउ अंडरस्टैंड, लेट्स से फॉर नाउ कैन यू सी दिस myntra.com? everyone can see myntra.com? everyone? Yes, thumbs up. Yes, right? Yes. Okay, now see here, as soon as I click this particular main, you will see that here you have /shop/main, /shop/main, right? As soon as I go into this main, and let's suppose if I go to this top where I click t-shirts, you will see that /main t-shirts. So whatever this /main t-shirts that you can see, right, that is what you called as a endpoint. Means what? In this particular endpoint called as men's t-shirt, the complete data about the men t-shirts is stored at one particular place. Means let's suppose you write a code, that's fine, you are writing the code, you are writing very good codes, but when you want to show that particular code into this environment, when you want to show that particular code, let's say how exactly that code will be showcased on a live, means here. Now when you created the endpoint about this particular men's t-shirts, at that time only you can show this, the people can be able to see this particular whole thing. If you simply write a code about, let's say, okay, yeah, you have written a code where you can see that all the data about the function is there, where all the data about let's say men's t-shirt is already available. But if you just simply write a data, that is not enough, that is not possible. You need to convert that particular data into something called as endpoint. This is what we call as an endpoint. Say men's t-shirts is an endpoint that we have. Okay, what's up? So now that is done. So this is what we call as a creating the endpoints, one of the most important things that you do in this particular Python. And you create the endpoints with the help of something called as fast APIs and Flask APIs. Fast APIs and Flask APIs. Okay guys, one more thing, do not get panic, do not think that this is going to be very difficult. Guys, trust me, if you do it properly, it's very simple. Okay, what we need to do is just invest the time. See, initially I would say, initially you might need to invest more and more time. Maybe daily you need to invest 4 to 5 hours to understand from very basics. But once you get to a part where you are understanding it in a pretty good way, after that you don't need to invest like so much of time. Eventually you will understand, you will keep on understanding, okay. So these are all the things that we'll cover in Python, right? And uske baad with respect to data analysis, we'll be covering NumPy, pandas, right? So that will come to. But now understand here, see, now all these particular things that I told you, I will teach you in a way that this coding should be production level coding. Now there is a difference between production level code and the codes that you write on a daily basis. उनके बीच में बहुत बड़ा difference होता है. So when we will actually start building this particular projects, right, at that time you will realize कि whatever codes that I am writing into simple, let's say Google Colab, right, so they are completely written in a different way in your VS Code. So in the VS Code we need to think about a lot of different things. Let's suppose now A very simple example, do not think we are going in any advance. Very simple example, imagine you want to connect to a certain database. ठीक है, आपको किसी डेटाबेस के साथ कनेक्ट करना है, तो डेटाबेस के लिए क्या होता है, कुछ ना कुछ आईडी और पासवर्ड होगा. ठीक है, आईडी और पासवर्ड होगा. अब जैसे मान लो कि मैंने अपना सारा कोड यहाँ पे गिटहब पे पुश किया. आपने देखा होगा कई सारे अलग अलग फाइल्स मेरे आपने देखे होंगे, अभी बहुत सारी चीज़ें यहाँ पे थी. अब जैसे मान लो अगर मेरा कोई आईडी और पासवर्ड कनेक्शन करके अगर मुझे गिटहब के अंदर डालना है, तो क्या वो सही रहेगा? डेफिनेटली नहीं, राइट. मीन्स व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, यू आर इनडायरेक्टली शेयरिंग योर पासवर्ड एंड योर ईमेल एंड व्हाट योर क्रेडेंशियल्स आर देयर विच शुड बी सीक्रेट क्रेडेंशियल्स, you are directly sharing that publicly. So then how exactly you try to handle these particular things, means where exactly you will store that particular secret variables, we call it as env files, environment files. Where exactly you will store that environment files? There will be separate folder for that where all those things will be stored, right? So then we will try to import those particular things into our own code कि उनको फिर अपने कोड के अंदर कैसे यूज़ करना है. So these are the kind of things that comes into production level coding. बिकॉज प्रोडक्शन के अंदर क्या एक्सपेक्टेड होता है, इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट गेटिंग आंसर. हम लोग सिर्फ आपको ये एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करेंगे कि यू शुड नो द आंसर. वी शुड यू शुड ऑल्सो नो हाउ टू राइट द मॉड्यूलर कोड्स. यू शुड नो हाउ टू राइट द स्ट्रक्चर्ड कोड्स. यू शुड नो हाउ टू राइट एन efficient codes. So when I say efficient codes means what? टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी, मतलब क्या, उस कोड ने ज़्यादा टाइम भी नहीं लेना चाहिए, नाइदर स्पेस कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी, मतलब उसने ज़्यादा स्पेस भी नहीं लेना चाहिए. सारी चीज़ों को ऑप्टिमाइज़ करके जो आप कोड लिखते हो उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं प्रोडक्शन लेवल कोडिंग. और प्रोडक्शन लेवल कोडिंग के लिए आपको सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है समथिंग कॉल्ड एज क्लासेस. आपने देखा होगा ऊप्स कंसेप्ट के बारे में आपने सुना होगा, तो ऊप्स हम लोग बहुत डिटेल में जाएंगे, लेकिन क्लासेस के बारे में हम लोग पढ़ेंगे. क्लासेस क्या होते हैं, सिंपल क्लासेस कैसे बनाते हैं, मतलब क्या. देखो अभी वेन एवर आई विल बी गिविंग यू एन असाइनमेंट, तो हम लोग असाइनमेंट कैसे करेंगे, विल डू द असाइनमेंट इन 3 डिफरेंट वेज. आप सिंपल एक असाइनमेंट है, उसका आप सिंपल कोड लिखोगे. ठीक है, दैट सिंपल कोड, हाउ एग्जैक्टली द सेम कोड कैन बी रिटन इन सिंपल फंक्शन. मतलब एक सिंपल कोड को आप फंक्शन के अंदर कैसे कन्वर्ट करोगे, एंड उसी फंक्शन को आप एक क्लास के अंदर कैसे कन्वर्ट करोगे. अब मतलब क्या हो गया, क्लास क्या हो गया आपका. जैसे मान लो एक कार करके पूरा आपका एक क्लास है, कार का क्लास है, उसके अंदर फंक्शंस क्या क्या आ गए कि चलो यार, मतलब ड्राइविंग का एक फंक्शन आ गया, क्लच प्लेट का एक फंक्शन आ गया, ब्रेक्स का एक फंक्शन आ गया, उसके बाद लेट्स से एक्सीलेटर, मतलब अलग अलग उसके अंदर फंक्शंस है. पूरा क्लास क्या हो गया आपका, कार हो गया. मतलब क्लास इक्वल टू आप क्या करोगे, कार दिखाओगे, क्लास आपका कार आएगा. गाइस सॉरी फॉर दिस राइटिंग टुडे, माई राइटिंग मोड इज़ नॉट विद मी, सो एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी फॉर. नेक्स्ट लेक्चर से दैट वोंट बी एन इशू, राइट. देन फंक्शन जो आपके होंगे वो सिंपल फंक्शन होंगे. हाँ भाई, कार के अंदर क्या क्या है, ये एक चीज़ है, ये एक चीज़ है, ये एक चीज़ है, ये एक चीज़ है. तो मतलब हम लोग क्या करते हैं, वेन एवर वी राइट द कोड्स इन द प्रोडक्शन, हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि अगर मान लो ये पूरा एक ऐसा एक प्रोसेस है जो सिर्फ एक ही चीज़ कर रहा है. जैसे मान लो कि जैसे डेटा आएगा, डेटा आने के बाद वो डेटा सीधा लेट्स सपोज एक पर्टिकुलर डेटाबेस में जाएगा, वहाँ से उसको एक चेक आएगा, यहाँ पे दैट डेटाबेस विल बी चेक्ड बाय समवन, एंड आफ्टर चेकिंग दैट डेटाबेस विल बी स्टोर्ड इनटू दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा. ऐसा लेट्स सपोज एक फ्लो है. तो ये पूरे फ्लो के लिए क्या होगा, आपका एक क्लास होगा, एक क्लास आपको यहाँ पे लिखा जाएगा. फिर वो क्लास क्या करेगा, यहाँ पे एक फंक्शन लिखेगा, यहाँ पे एक फंक्शन लिखेगा, यहाँ पे फंक्शन लिखेगा, एंड मतलब क्या हो गया फिर, ऑल दिस पर्टिकुलर फंक्शन, ऑल दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस इज एनक्लोज्ड इनसाइड वन पर्टिकुलर क्लास. पूरा प्रोसेस एक क्लास के अंदर एनक्लोज हो गया. और प्रोडक्शन लेवल पे क्या होता है गाइज, जब आप सिंपल फंक्शंस लिखते हो, अगर सिर्फ फंक्शंस लिखोगे तो आपका कोड ब्रेक हो सकता है. अब आपने सुना होगा ना, नाम ऐसा सुना होगा कि यार वेबसाइट डाउन है. क्या है, वेबसाइट डाउन है, मतलब क्या, कहीं ना कहीं उनका कोड ब्रेक हो रहा है, ओके. सो देयरफॉर प्रोडक्शन के अंदर वी एक्सपेक्ट यू टू राइट द डिफरेंट क्लासेस. एंड गाइज अंडरस्टैंड, ओके, यू डू नॉट नीड टू वरी अबाउट एवरी सिंगल थिंग. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, इट्स फाइन, बस कीप ऑन डूइंग इट. फंक्शन समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, कीप ऑन डूइंग इट. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होगा कि बिल्कुल समझ में ही नहीं आएगा. इट्स नॉट समथिंग लाइक, मतलब हो ही नहीं सकता. बहुत सिंपल चीज़ें हैं. द काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स दैट यू आर सॉल्विंग ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस आर सो गुड दैट इवेंचुअली यू विल गेन दैट पर्टिकुलर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. आपको अंडरस्टैंडिंग आ जाएगी, ठीक है. तो एट अ सर्टन लेवल, मतलब व्हेन यू विल एक्चुअली स्टार्ट बिल्डिंग द प्रोजेक्ट्स, और प्रोजेक्ट्स के अंदर ना, आई एम नॉट गोना गो ऑन अ सिंपल लेवल, आई एम टेलिंग फ्रॉम नाउ ओनली, विल बी गोइंग एट लीस्ट अ नॉर्मल डिफिकल्टी लेवल, बट आई विल मेक श्योर दैट एवरी वन ऑफ यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट प्रोजेक्ट इन वेरी वेरी डिटेल्स. मतलब उस प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद उस प्रोजेक्ट के अंदर व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट यू नीड टू डू, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इनपुट्स दैट यू नीड टू डू. You will be giving your own inputs. Means it is gonna be the two-way discussions. Like currently though you all are just listening, but as we start discussing about the topics, right, so it is gonna be the two-way discussions. Here also you have some cross questions you are asking, we are answering. Projects ke liye bhi you have your own inputs. Okay sir, can we do this, can we do that? Means both the thinkings will combine together and then these projects will be created. Okay, and after all these projects are done, then you will be hosting that on the AWS. So let's say after certain amount of time, you will also need to create an account on something called as AWS console. Okay, so might be you can create AWS. For now we are using very simple login, just like we do it for ourselves. For as of now you don't need to worry, you don't need to do anything. Step by step I will tell you the process, कौन सा option select करना है, क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. That is like a next thing. Okay, so this is how exactly we'll be covering the whole Python. मतलब पूरा पाइथन कैसे आएगा, इस तरीके से हम लोग पूरा पाइथन को हम लोग कवर करेंगे. ओके, सो नाउ एट द एंड ऑफ द पाइथन यू हैव द गुड अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट हाउ टू क्रिएट फास्ट APIs. मतलब क्या कि अगर कोई मैं प्रोजेक्ट अगर बना रहा हूँ तो वो प्रोजेक्ट आपका वेबसाइट के ऊपर कैसे दिखेगा, हाउ एग्जैक्टली दैट प्रोजेक्ट विल लुक लाइक ऑन योर वेबसाइट. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ एग्जैक्टली वी डू इट. नाउ दैट हैपेंड विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू लेट्स से सिंपल पाइथन. नाउ इनटू दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा एनालिसिस पार्ट जैसे हम लोग स्टार्ट करेंगे, विल लर्न अबाउट समथिंग कॉल्ड एज numpy एंड pandas. ओके, तो नाउ आई थिंक सब लोग बोलोगे यार कई जगह पे हमने सुना है, मतलब काफ़ी वही सेम चीज़ें होती है. लेकिन गाइज अंडरस्टैंड डेटा एनालिसिस के अंदर लाइक यू विल एक्चुअली फील, ओके, जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हम लोग करेंगे वहाँ पे आपको सोचने के लिए यू नीड टू थिंक. मतलब क्या होता है गाइस, सी numpy एंड pandas आर द लाइब्रेरीज वेयर यू हैव मल्टीपल फंक्शंस विच आर इन प्लेस दैट यू कैन अप्लाई टू गेट सर्टन इनसाइट्स फ्रॉम द डेटा. दैट इज वन पार्ट, दैट इज टोटली फाइन. बट द थिंग इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट स्टार्ट्स इज हाउ टू थिंक अबाउट द डेटा. मतलब इज इट लाइक लेट सपोज आपके पास एक डेटा आ गया एंड डेटा आके आपने उसके ऊपर पूरा काम चालू कर दिया, हाँ मेरे पास ये फंक्शन है वो फंक्शन आपने लगाना चालू कर दिया. लेकिन क्या वो लगाना ज़रूरी है, वेदर एक्चुअली दैट रिक्वायर्स, क्या उसकी सच में ज़रूरत है. मतलब डेटा के बारे में सोचना, मतलब व्हाट इज़ एक्सपेक्टेशन दैट समवन इज होल्डिंग फ्रॉम यू एंड फ्रॉम दैट डेटा व्हाट इज़ योर ओन लॉजिक दैट यू आर एक्चुअली अप्लाइंग इनटू दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा. तो वैसे विल बी लुकिंग एट समथिंग IMDb डेटा सेट्स. ओके, जहाँ पे व्हाट यू हैव इज लेट सपोज देयर इज अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा and from that you need to extract the very specific things. Let's suppose which particular movie made the highest profit in certain year, which particular movie till now has been the most watched movie. Means what, from a very huge amount of data you will be extracting the most important features for that particular data. Okay, so like this we'll create minimum 3 projects, a very very good level projects, right? And guys, one more thing, project sessions, okay, they will not be included into your लर्निंग सिलेबस. जो आपकी लर्निंग हो रही है 6 घंटे की, उसके अंदर प्रोजेक्ट सेशन यूजुअली इन्वॉल्व नहीं होंगे. प्रोजेक्ट सेशन विल बी यूजुअली ऑन सैटरडे एंड संडे 2 hours डेली. मतलब सैटरडे संडे 2 hours. कहाँ पे, मे बी इन द मॉर्निंग टाइम, लेट्स से मैं 10 to 12, ओके, मे बी 2 to 4, लाइक वट एवर टाइम विल बी सुटेबल फॉर ऑल, लाइक दैट विल डिस्कस आफ्टरवर्ड्स. ओके, सो दैट इज नथिंग टू वरी अबाउट इट. बट उसके अंदर क्या होगा ना, वी नीड नो, उसके अंदर देन विल हैव टू इन्वेस्ट अ टाइम. मतलब ये 2 घंटा शायद फिर 2.5 घंटा हो, 3 घंटा हो, दैट डिपेंड्स. ओके, लेकिन विल बी सॉल्विंग द प्रोजेक्ट्स इन दिस पर्टिकुलर वे. तो व्हेन यू हैव अ 3 projects here and along with that we'll also be learning something called as ETL pipelines here. And another very 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 extremely important thing, see now this is not a exact work of as a data analysis, this is more of a work of data engineer. मतलब क्या होता है कि जैसे मान लो जब आपके पास डेटा आता है, ठीक है, तो वो डेटा बहुत अलग अलग जगह से आता है. मतलब क्या कि कई जगह पे आपको कस्टमर मीन्स आपका जो क्लाइंट है, दैट क्लाइंट इज गिविंग द डेटा, ठीक है. समटाइम्स क्या होगा, यू आर गेटिंग द डेटा इन फॉर्म ऑफ एक्सेल, समटाइम्स यू आर गेटिंग अ डेटा इन फॉर्म ऑफ PDF, समटाइम्स यू आर गेटिंग अ डेटा मीन्स ज़्यादा डेटा है नहीं तो व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, यू आर ट्राइंग टू स्क्रैप द डेटा. आप कहीं से स्क्रैप कर रहे हो डेटा, स्क्रैपिंग टेक्निक्स यूज़ करके आप डेटा, राइट, स्क्रैपिंग द डेटा. उसके बाद समटाइम्स let's say scraping the data, yeah, these are let's say few of the ways, right? So now understand मेरे पास तो डेटा इतना आ गया, लेकिन मैं इसको अब स्टोर कैसे करूँगा? आई नीड टू ऑर्गेनाइज दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा, राइट? आई नीड टू मेक श्योर कि एवरी सिंगल डेटा दैट आई हैव, आई नीड टू ऑर्गेनाइज दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा. सो टू ऑर्गेनाइज दिस पर्टिकुलर डेटा वी नीड समथिंग कॉल्ड एज ETL पाइपलाइंस. मतलब ये पाइपलाइंस आपके लिए क्या करेंगे? सारे डेटा को एक जगह स्टोर करने का काम करेंगे. मीन्स यू विल बी बिल्डिंग अ पाइपलाइंस वेयर एवरी सिंगल डेटा विल बी स्टोर्ड एट वन पर्टिकुलर प्लेस. तो फिर क्या होगा? इट विल बी ईजी. मतलब ईजी हो जाएगा कि नो फॉर यू, ओके यार सर्टन डेटा इज देयर, आई कैन डायरेक्टली गो देयर एंड सर्च अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा एंड आई कैन गेट दैट पर्टिकुलर डेटा फॉर माई वर्क. I can get that particular data for my work. Okay, so this is the core idea of what exactly the ETL pipelines will do. And we will be hosting every single project on something called as AWS. वहाँ पे you will have some certain free rates. Usually AWS आपको चार्ज करता है, बट जब आप स्टूडेंट लॉगिन करते हो कि हाँ आप उनको बोलना है कि हम एज अ प्रैक्टिस के लिए कर रहे हैं, तो व्हेन यू डू इट फॉर द प्रैक्टिस आपको यू गेट अ फ्री क्रेडिट्स. ओके, यू गेट अ free credits. So in that free credits, easily you can host few websites. Okay, that's totally fine. Like you can host it there. So in this particular way, we'll try to understand the end-to-end things. Means even if you are a data analyst, what you are doing, you are understanding core things about Python. You are understanding core things about fast APIs and how to host the fast APIs, how to create these endpoints, and how to host them in a server also. At the same time, you are also building a very proper analysis projects and you are also hosting them. And along with that, we'll also learn about Power BI. For data analysis, right? The Power BI will be only for data analyst, not for a data scientist. Okay, so these are the things that we'll cover for data analyst. And for the scientist, now as soon as these things are done, we'll directly move on to something called as machine learning. Now guys, in the machine learning, understand what has happened. See here, I have been into this particular field for now more than 5 years. So when I started, at that time there was no GPT kind of model was there. Yeah, GPT was there, but GPT-1 was there. GPT-1 was not that effective. Okay, जितना GPT 3.5 effective था, उतना GPT नहीं था. तो when GPT came into play, when 5 years the thing was there, so we had to write the codes from scratch. हमें स्क्रैच से कोड लिखना पड़ता था. हर एनीथिंग यू वांट टू राइट, यू हैव टू राइट इट फ्रॉम स्क्रैच. Okay, so now, so let's suppose if you want to build a machine learning model, you need to write everything from scratch. So for that, how the mathematics behind the algorithm works was very, very important, because at that particular time data scientist was hired from understanding the key skills that he possessed. Means there is a machine learning algorithm, so what kind of mathematics is involved behind the scenes? And simple mathematics, right? Not very difficult, like simple integration, differentiation that you have seen, right? Simple things, simple addition, multiplication. Okay, so that was required. Now in today's world, when we have tools like GPT and all large language models, we call them large language models. That's generative AI field that is coming into play. So now in here, you don't need to write everything from scratch. So because of that, somehow machine learning projects have now gone a little bit down. Means you won't find like too much of work in space of machine learning. So what we'll be doing, whatever is required for this particular let's say understanding generative AI, that much only machine learning will cover. And guys, that is more than sufficient. Similarly, deep learning also, whatever is required, that's anyhow it's not a very huge topic of deep learning, that's like simple only, but whatever is required will cover. Most important topics that will cover are NLP, that is called as natural language processing, and generative AI. In the generative AI, we start with the classical generative AI and eventually we'll move into agentic AI. Okay, now when I talk about natural language processing, so many of them might not know. Let's suppose now guys, understand a very, very simple thing. Let's say you have multiple things in together. Let's suppose you have emails, you have PDFs, texts, online meetings, let's say syllabus is online, blogs are online. Like every single thing that you see in today's world is online, and every single thing is covered by something, what we call it as, called as textual data. Means understand, you use social media, every chatting is online, every single thing is there, right? Everything is a text, every single thing is a text. Now to handle this particular text, we have the separate this particular thing called as natural language processing. For the last few years, the natural language processing has evolved so much Because guys, understand, more than 70% of the data, or I would say more than 80% of the data that is produced in the today's world, out of the trillions of data points that are being generated, more than 80% of the data generated is a textual data. So to handle this huge amount of data, what is textual data, you need skilled people, and the skilled people are originated from learning something called as natural language processing. मतलब नेचुरल लैंग्वेज का मतलब क्या है कि आसान भाषा, सिंपल भाषा, जो वट एवर यू स्पीक एंड आई स्पीक, दैट इज अ नेचुरल लैंग्वेज. Okay, so natural language processing, how to process a natural language, is the study of what we call it as natural language processing. Okay, now in this particular case there are multiple things that we'll learn. Now whatever chat GPT that you see, so it was originated from here. There were some kind of problems that classical natural language processing had. After that particular time, we thought, okay, we can build something very better. So in that particular thing, we now see, guys, at that particular time, natural language processing task can be solved using machine learning approach also and a deep learning approach also. Means you can solve a machine learning natural language problem using machine learning also and a deep learning also. Now machine learning eventually got failed. How it got failed? As the amount of data started increasing, मतलब जैसा जैसा डेटा का साइज बड़ा होते गया, मशीन लर्निंग कहीं ना कहीं फेल होती गई, क्योंकि ये सब चीज़ें सिंपल चीज़ों के लिए बनाई गई थी. हाँ, सिंपल मॉडल्स बनाने हैं, व्हेन यू वांट टू वर्क ऑन अ सिंपल काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स, एट दैट पर्टिकुलर टाइम इट वाज यूज्ड. But when we actually had a very huge amount of data, just like now you talked about a GPT. So GPT is being trained on billions of parameters. So now when you talk about deep learning, you need a bigger amount of data to process. So then natural language processing started evolving more with deep learning, because we know that, let's such a huge amount of texts are there, every single thing is there, everything is text only, right? So now huge amount of data started coming in, so therefore we started implementing deep learning with natural language processing, and there we created something called as RNNs. So the fundamental block of chat GPT is called as a recurrent neural network, that is RNN. Means सबसे पहले, what is the first thing that came? RNN. Then eventually what happened, there were some problems into it, then we got something called as LSTMs and GRUs, then eventually we got transformer architecture, then we got encoder decoders, transformer architecture, and then we got ChatGPT, then we got GPT. So guys, one thing always understand, whenever you sit for the interviews of generative AI, maximum times you will be asked about these kind of things. How the transformer architecture works, what is the importance of transformer architecture, how can you decode this particular architecture, how a certain parameter, let's suppose called as self-attention, how exactly self-attention works, what is the process in which encoder decoder is working. So these are all the things which are maximum important to understand what is going in the today's world called as generative AI. Okay, because ye fundamental hai guys, this will never go away. Means whatever ChatGPT you see is the improvement of this thing, that's it. It's a better version of this one, that's it. It's just like iPhone 6 and it's like iPhone 16 Pro. Means it's gonna be 17 Pro, it's gonna be 18 Pro, but basic idea of iPhone is iPhone. Basic idea won't change. Basic idea is okay, it's gonna be a perfect model, it's gonna work. It's just like as the new things are coming, the performance will get optimized. Okay, so understanding these core things is very important. So my main focus of our last 3 months would be to focus on all these things, natural language and ChatGPT part. So in here we'll be building minimum 7 projects with respect to agentic AI, with respect to simple let's say generative AI, with respect to natural language processing. We'll be building multiple things over here. Okay, so these projects will actually highlight the resume in such a way that it will look like, okay, you have been working for very long into this particular field, and the kind of use cases that we are solving are actually of a very good level. Okay, are actually of a very good level. So when you solve use cases which are of a very good level, eventually you get a very perfect idea, right? Like, yeah, these are the kind of things we are doing, and now you get an idea, okay, yeah, now we have pretty good solid understanding that okay, this particular person is perfectly eligible for it, right? Now after every single module that is done, let's say projects are done, we will directly update that in your resume. Okay, these are the 3 projects I have done. Okay, now I'm okay to start applying for the jobs. We'll directly start applying for the jobs. As long as you are a fresher, we'll do this particular process. As long as you are already working somewhere, at that particular time we might wait till go into the generative AI part also, right? But what happens, as a fresher, it is a bit difficult to get into this field. And when you want to get into this particular field, the most important thing is to get inside it. After that, you can always learn, right? You can always learn. Like I'm always there. You can always keep continuing these lectures. Now once the lectures are done, it's the material is gonna be with you for lifetime. Anytime you can access it, you can look into it. Anytime you can connect with me. This is the kind of problems that I'm facing. Always there to help you. Okay, so this is the approach that we are following. So this portfolio website that we'll be building, right? So that is gonna be the main highlight. Okay, you will be showcasing every single thing on your website. You'll be showcasing every single thing on your website. Okay, so now these are all the things that we have talked about. So now let's suppose let's say let's wait now. Yes, so now if I just talk about little bit about this, right? So let's say this is how our basically platform looks like. You just need to go and register, right? So once you register, all those are enrolled. Okay, so they will be let's say redirected to the enrollment page. There will be redirected to the enrollment page. So let's suppose, let me show you. I don't know whether it's gonna work or not. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay, see here. Okay, so like this dashboard you will see. As soon as you click on the continue learning, you will see that here the live sessions will appear. Like let's say when is gonna be the next session that's gonna start. Okay, after that you will have all the recent recordings. Let's say today now we learned about introduction to our whole curriculum, introduction to Python. So this particular thing will appear over here. You can watch a recording over here. You will see a recording. So as of now nothing is there. Okay, because this is your new cohort now. This is a new user. If you are a user for data analysis, you will see the data about data analysis only. You won't see the what is written in the natural language processing. Okay, so similarly you can view material over here. You will see whatever notebook that we have created. You can see here. Eventually this is the notebook you will see, and in there you will have assignment. So once the assignment is done, you have the option in there only. You can again upload it here only after solving that. Okay, so this is very handy, very handy. Very easily you can handle this. Very easily you can look into this platform, right? Very structured it is been made. Okay, so this is always gonna be with you. Once you start exploring into it, you will get a very good idea about it. Second thing is that now guys, see, one of the very core things that we have actually implemented is this one. So this is actually gonna be a game changing. Now understand here. Corporate training, see here, challenges. Okay, so now on a regular basis you will get the challenges over here. You will get a regular challenge over here. You will have an estimated time to solve it. Now these challenges are open for every single person in this particular. No need to be enrolled to us or something like that. Anyone can come and solve it. Okay, if you are able to solve it, there are certain kind of let's say we can say goodies and all that we have kept. So that will be given. And another good thing that we have actually here is you have company challenges. Okay, means what? There are certain type of companies. Now understand, let's say there is a company A. Now one more thing I'll tell you guys. Okay, it is not even that easy for companies to get a good candidate, right? It's not easy. Now understand, let's say when we search for one good candidate, even after taking 50 different interviews also you don't get a good candidate. That happens. So now what we have done is we have actually implemented these challenges over here. So what we are saying now, eventually we are approaching the companies now. So companies will come and place their challenges over here, right? So when they post a challenge, okay, this is what we are expecting from a student to solve. And now let's say there is certain group of people from us, you all, they are able to solve that particular problem. And it is not going to be like that you have like a 2 days to solve it. There is going to be a time frame for it. Okay, 4 hours you need to solve it. So within that particular 4 hours, if you are able to solve it, you submit the solution. And if company thinks that okay, this solution we are happy with it, now what happens guys? Even for the companies it is easy to look at you, and even for you also now you don't need to hunt much about it. You know that okay, what kind of companies would for. Means now see, I won't say immediately it's gonna be possible to solve the company challenges because they will have some certain kind of level that you need to reach. But in short guys, this is actually a very simple approach, but yet very effective. Means we don't need to go to 100 different HRs and ask for the resume, let's say referrals. You can do this very easily. You can come, even companies can come, and they have this particular criteria where they can easily hire from here also. Means what? We are keeping that flexibility where this also will be a challenge. This also be gonna be there, and soon it will start, right? See, we have not even started your first lecture also. So eventually, as we move forward, that time we're gonna implement this particular part. Okay, so this is whole platform is all about. You can always go search about all the things: fellowship programs, pool programs, how the dashboard actually looks like. This is the enrollment dashboard. Now eventually we'll see a lot of new things over here, like you will see the progress, what kind of progress you have. As of now there is nothing on progress, because still you have nothing, you have not done anything here, right? As of now, so there is nothing is there. So as you start moving forward, you will see what kind of progress you have done, how much things you have actually done, what are the things that are actually needed to be done. So we are also planning to implement very good AI things into it, right? So eventually it is going to be very interactive for you, eventually it's going to be very fun for you, right? So as you start, slowly you will feel that we are actually learning something that is very very unique, that is very very unique. Okay, so the most important thing is we will learn side by side how to use these particular tools that are available in the today's world, whatever tools are there. So maximum what are they are doing is, let's say picking up a problem. Hey GPT, give me and solve me this particular whole problem for me. That is not how you give it. You need to break down that particular problem, break it down into small things, and then pass that particular problem. When you start breaking down the problem and then passing it, then it becomes more effective. Then you can expect more effective answers out of it. Okay, so this is how we are completely approaching this particular part. So our next lecture will be, whenever we'll talk about whatever will be our next lecture, that next lecture will be completely, will start from our first topic, that is introduction to Python. In that, the first topic will be covered, what are simple statements and everything, how to write the print statements, how to add the different small things, right? So we'll be adding all these particular things. Okay, yes, thank you so much. Yes sir. Oh yeah, just wait, don't leave. Okay, so how long is this and what will be the daily time? So see, Aman, this is gonna be a complete 6 months course, because there are multiple things that we are covering. If you are already aware of the things like data analysis, or you are already familiar with simple machine learning, deep learning, then I would suggest you to go directly into NLP and Gen AI program, which is only for the 3 months, right? And this program is gonna be complete 6 months. Okay, links and all you will directly get it on platform, you will get it on your group. Okay, so once you enroll into it, you will get all the details about there. Everything will be updated, everything, no need to there is nothing manual. The classes that I told you, what are there? For classes, it's gonna be from very basics, right? Means what? It's Wednesday is the one thing that we have, and another 2 days will be Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so when is the project session, what is gonna be the project session, every single thing will be updated on that particular platform only. Okay, Ashok sir, fees for NLP and Gen AI is 40,000. Okay, as compared to if you go and look at the market, right, people are literally charging lakhs of rupees to it. I think there are few students who are already here, right, who are already learning with me. You can ask them also, like, what kind of content I have been delivering for so long. Okay, and this is like completely unique approach that I'm taking. It's not like any salesperson is being talking with you, or it's not like any third person who has nothing to do with data science is talking with you. It's completely someone who is working here, and I'm the one who is gonna handling every single part of it, your doubt sessions. And so it's just like things, you go somewhere, they will say okay, book a doubt session, then someone will come for the doubt session, and eventually that doubt will also remain behind. Neither you will be able to get the doubt clarified. So it's just like here, very simple, you can just ping me, this is a doubt we have, I will come, or some or other else will come, who will 100% will help you into your doubts. Okay, so it's like very structured thing that we are following over here. Okay, and that is gonna be the fees for that particular class, and it's gonna be 3 months for NLP and Gen AI. Okay, so guys, apart from this, if you have anything to ask, if you have anything to ask about, you are feel free to ask. Okay, session and recordings will be shared with you on the group. I'll share the recording of this particular session, I'll upload this to YouTube, because we have planned key first seven lectures, we'll upload it on YouTube so that everyone can watch. And then after that, and at the same time, you will also see the those whoever have enrolled, right? So they will also see that into the dashboard also. Okay, so as soon as you register over there, you will be redirected to your dashboard page. We'll manually add you as of now, because we have not added the payment gateways into the websites, right? Because still that is remaining. So enrollment process we have done manually because we are taking directly money through Razopay into our accounts. So because of that, whoever people are involved and who have let's say you have enrolled, so as soon as you log in over there, we'll immediately enroll you into that particular course. Okay, so I hope everything is clear. All the data scientist and data analyst will be starting together only for the first 3 months of period. As soon as data analyst things is done, next thing will be like you guys will be continuing from there. Okay, so this is going to be the whole program that we have scheduled. Now I hope everyone is perfectly clear with what is the goal. I hope everyone is perfectly clear with what is our own idea. So to everyone, if you are interested, feel free to ping me directly on WhatsApp, on the group, wherever you think. Yes, thank you so much, Viraj, and I hope you can start joining from very regularly. Now the last thing comes is, what are the things that you need to do, whoever are enrolled, right, whoever gonna be joining the session next time. So for them there are certain things you need to do, right. The assignments will be, let's say, understand what is data science. What is data science? What are the domains where data science is used extensively? Means what are the different fields? Don't worry, right, guys. Board deck, next time we'll have a proper writing boards only. My previous one just got disconnected actually, so I'm already ordered the new. It will just come in some time. Yeah, in the next lecture we'll have very structured way. Okay, so don't worry. Just a second, it's not expanding also. Sorry. Okay, so what are the domains where data science is used, right? Then what is Python? A very simple question. What is Python and why it is used? Main things. Now from today only you will subscribe to 3 different things: analytics Vidya, towards data science, and open data science. This is the place where you get idea about all the real world things. Now let me show you. Let me see. Open data science. Look at this one. See here, guys. Every single thing. Okay, see. When it came 31st March 2025, means 2 days back, what happened? 12 beginner friendly sessions you shouldn't miss at a, let's say, East 24. Okay, fine. Let's say any kind of insight. Let's say 11 AI insights talk help improve your company's AI game at the ODSC West. The rise of a reasoning models unlocking the next phase of AI. Means what? In short term, what is there, guys? Every single thing that is going into the currently in the AI, you will get every single knowledge about it. You can simply go here. Let's suppose now you are started to learn Python now. Go to the Python directly. So with respect to Python, whatever things are happening in today's world, you will see every single thing here. Okay, you will see everything. Okay, interest to what is asynchronous Python programming. You will see different blogs over here, right? You can read about it, you can follow them, right? Similarly, let's say there are business and use cases, right? There are career advices. So I would say stick to this one only. Okay, all these particular fields are there. With respect to every single field, let's say now you are an analyst. So as an analyst now, what is currently happening into the today's world? What things are actually happening in the today's world. So every single thing. Okay, the future of AI analytics, insights from the Gary Arora and Dr. Someone. Okay, 17th March 2025. So it's like latestly whatever people have their own thoughts, they're posting it over here. One of the best platforms where you can expand your knowledge to any extent, to the very great extent, right? Then second thing I told you about was towards data science blogs. So these are the blogs, right? Means whatever topic you are learning. Let's suppose Python will be starting, that's fine. But for today, what you need to do is, what is data science and AI towards data science. So when you write something like this, so you get the blogs from the people who are very expert into this particular domains. Now look at here. Okay, so they're domain experts now. See here, I'm towards data science. Okay, read everything over here. You will see all the different blogs over here. So means what? From a very first, we'll start having this approach. We need to keep ourselves involved. Okay, so I'll just make sure ki, you are just reading simple things about it, all simple, what are the domains that are used, what is simple Python, right? And I just expect, you should have little bit knowledge about whatever things that you are learning. So when the very first, whatever things you know, from the very first, what are the things that you should focus on, every single thing will be given up here. Okay guys, so apart from that, if anyone have any kind of issues, feel free to ask. Okay, so that's all guys, that's all from my end, and thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you on Saturday. Okay, yes, bye bye. All those who want to enroll and all, please ping me on WhatsApp, right? So we are starting the enrollment process very quickly. The people are already enrolled, so whoever are not enrolled, just ping me. Okay, we'll start with that process as soon as possible.